Welcome to Connecting the Dots, everyone. This is a special edition, A Deeper Dot, coming to you from Snarful Solutions Group.
And this week, we're really going deep, taking a close look at kids' online safety.
Yeah, it's a big one. Obviously something that I think is on all of our minds these days. And we've got a lot to cover, pulling from expert opinions and advice, plus some really helpful resources out there.
Yeah, it's about figuring out the most important things for, well, parents, educators, anyone who cares about kids.
Okay.
Really just trying to give you the tools to help keep young people safe online.
Exactly, because it's tricky, right? The internet is amazing, but it also has its dark side, especially for kids. So where do we even begin? I mean, when we talk about online dangers for kids, what are we really talking about here?
Well, the first thing that probably jumps to mind, at least for a lot of parents, is predators. I mean, that's a huge fear.
Yeah, for sure.
But it goes beyond that. You've got exposure to content that just isn't right for kids at different ages, right?
Right.
And then scams, even adults fall for those.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And then you've got cyberbullying. I think
Right.
that's just so prevalent now, and it can really impact a kid's mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not even just that direct kind of bullying. Sometimes just the overall online experience, even if it seems fine, can make other mental health stuff worse.
That's a good point. Because it's not just one device or platform, is it? It feels like everything is connected now.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Smartphone, tablet, computer, game console. If it connects to the internet,
Yeah.
it's a potential pathway to all of these risks. And think about it. Since COVID, so many kids are spending way more time online.
Yeah, for sure.
That just raises the stakes even higher.
Absolutely. So, okay, how do we tackle this?
Mhm.
It feels like communication is key. I was reading something from online safety expert Vani Sanganaria, and she was really stressing how important it is for kids to have a good relationship with the adults in their lives, if they want to thrive
Okay.
online.
It's interesting. She frames it as the relationship itself being the most important thing. It's not just about rules, it's about trust. Like, if a kid sees something disturbing, if something makes them uncomfortable online, they need to feel like they can come to you without being judged or, getting in trouble for something that wasn't their fault.
Right, making those tough conversations a little less tough.
I don't wanna-
So how do you do that? I mean, especially as kids get older, they're not always as open, right?
I think it's a constant process. And it changes as they get older. With little kids, you keep it basic, right?
Right.
Focus on who they can trust, what information is private. But teenagers, you can have more, I guess, detailed conversations. Still respecting their privacy, but setting boundaries, offering guidance. It's just got to be a regular thing, not just a lecture when something goes wrong.
Yeah. It's like showing them you're interested in their online world, just like you're interested in their school or their friends or whatever.
Exactly.
Not just like an interrogation,
Right, exactly. More like a shared exploration.
Yeah, exploration. So along with that open communication, there's the whole thing about internet rules and boundaries. Where do you even start with that?
It's like anything else that's important. Think about setting guidelines, having clear rules for using the internet, and I mean, for all their devices, that gives them a structure.
Yeah.
So things like time limits, what websites and apps they can use, how they should communicate online, the basics.
Yeah, and I noticed a lot of these resources, like I was looking at Kids Online, do's and don'ts, they really stress explaining to kids why these rules exist. It's not just, because I said so.
Oh, absolutely. If kids understand why the rules are there, to protect them from specific things, they're more likely to actually follow them.
Yeah.
And as they get older, as they show they can be responsible, then you start involving them in making the rules. That can be really powerful.
Yeah.
They feel like they're part of the process and they cooperate more. And, eventually, as they mature, you give them more freedom, more online rights. It's like a gradual thing.
Makes sense. It's like handing over the reins as they're ready.
Exactly.
So let's talk about some of the specific dangers because, cyberbullying, that's something I hear parents talking about all the time. What's the real deal with that?
It's a big problem, and it comes in so many forms. Mean messages, spreading rumors, excluding someone online, all of that. And what's tough is it can feel like there's no escape. It can happen anytime, anywhere. I think schools are realizing they need to step up here. They're trying to create safer online spaces, offering resources to kids who are dealing with this or who see it happening. Like, there are these Black Girl Clubs, which are great, offering support and tools to deal with online challenges.
So for parents, what are some of the signs that your kid might be getting cyberbullied? Because they won't always tell you.
Yeah.
Right. They might be embarrassed or scared to talk about it. So look for changes. Are they suddenly withdrawn? Secretive about what they're doing online? Are they anxious or stressed? Are their grades dropping? Maybe their sleep or eating habits have changed, or they don't want to go to school. Those could all be connected.
Wow, so many things to look out for.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be other things too, but it's definitely a sign to check in with your kid and just, give them space to talk if they need to.
Okay. Another really scary part of the internet is online grooming and, predators. How do we talk to our kids about this without completely terrifying them?
Yeah, it is scary. I mean, these predators, they try to build trust, manipulate kids, sometimes over a long time before trying anything inappropriate or trying to meet up in person. It's like, stranger danger. But for the online world, you have to explain to kids that people online aren't always who they say they are.
Right,
And tell them, if anyone makes you uncomfortable, if they ask for personal info, if they want to keep secrets, you tell me right away.
right. And no meeting up with strangers.
Exactly. Never meet up with someone they've only met online unless you know about it and they have your permission.
It's a tough balance, isn't it? You want to inform them, but not make them afraid of everything.
Yeah, it's about giving them the knowledge to recognize danger and how to react. And most importantly, knowing they can come to you, a trusted adult, for help.
Yeah, okay. And it's not just about other people, right? There's also malware, scams, phishing. I mean, even I almost clicked on something suspicious the other day. What about kids?
You're right. Kids can easily download something bad without realizing it. And those phishing things, emails or messages, they can look so real and kids might fall for them. I think it's about teaching them to be skeptical. Like, don't click on links from people you don't know, or if an offer seems too good to be true, it probably is. And never give out personal info like passwords or credit card numbers unless you're absolutely sure the website is safe. Look for the HTTPS and that little padlock icon.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
And if they see anything suspicious, they should ask you first before doing anything. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, they're really good for reporting scams and learning more about them.
And then there's all the inappropriate content out there. I mean, can you really shield kids from all of it?
It feels impossible sometimes,
Hmm.
but there are tools you can use. Filtering software, child-friendly search engines, they can block a lot of that stuff and help kids find more appropriate content like Safe Search, Kitopia, Amazon Kids. Those are good options. It's not perfect, but it's an extra layer of protection.
Right. So we've talked a lot about the dangers. What can parents actually do? Like, what are some specific things we can start doing today?
One of the easiest things is to really dive into the parental controls and privacy settings on all their devices, on the apps they use. Most phones, tablets, computers, game consoles, they've got these built-in tools where you can manage screen time, filter content, control who they can interact with. It's worth spending some time getting to know those settings. You might be surprised what you can actually control.
That's a good point. I know I need to do that. What else?
We talked about it earlier, but teach your kids about secure websites. Look for the HTTPS and the padlock icon. And remind them constantly, personal information is private. Full name, address, phone number, birthday, photos, all that, it shouldn't be public online. And keep your devices updated. Software updates, they usually have security patches that protect you from, hackers and stuff. It seems small, but it's really important.
Yeah, those are all good, concrete things to do. What about monitoring what they're doing online? How do you do that without being like a total snoop?
It's about balance. You don't have to read every message, but you should know what they're looking at, what apps and games they're using, who they're talking to. If they have a game console or a computer, maybe keep it in a common area instead of their bedroom. That way you can naturally see what's going on.
So having it out in the open can lead to more conversations, more awareness.
Exactly. And for the games and apps themselves, check the settings. Look for parental controls, safety features, maybe turn off in-game chat or in-app purchases if you need to. Make sure their online profiles are private. And talk to them about in-app purchases. They need to know to ask you before spending any money. And finally, you really need a plan for what to do if your kid encounters something bad online, like if they're targeted by someone.
Okay, so what does that plan look like?
First of all, reassure your child that it's not their fault. It's important for them to feel safe and supported. Stop all contact with that person immediately. Take screenshots of any messages or whatever just in case you need evidence. Then change their account names and passwords. And report it both to the platform where it happened and to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They have a website, cybertipline.com. They can really help in these situations.
It's good to know. So we've talked a lot about parents, but what about schools? What role do they play in online safety?
They're super important. They can teach kids about being good digital citizens, about online safety, build it into the curriculum. Teach them about cyberbullying, how to spot unsafe situations, and how to report them. Schools can also provide mental health support and just create a climate where kids feel comfortable talking about their online problems. And there's a lot of debate about cell phone policies in schools and how those can, maybe contribute to a safer online environment.
So it's really a team effort, right? Home and school working together.
Absolutely. When parents, teachers, and kids are all on the same page, that's when it works best.
So beyond just protecting kids, how do we empower them to be safe and responsible online themselves?
Empowerment is key. Teach them to self-regulate, to recognize when they need a break from their screens or when to walk away from a stressful online interaction. Give them the skills to think critically about what they see online, to spot potential dangers, and stress that they should treat people with respect online, just like they would in person. If they're looking for information or connection, encourage them to find positive, supportive online communities, but also to be aware of echo chambers and fake news. In the end, we want them to be smart and confident online.
This has been a really great conversation. It's clear that keeping kids safe online is complex, but there are things we can all do.
I agree. Open communication, setting boundaries, understanding the dangers, and using the tools we have, all of that can help create a safer online world for kids.
And we have to remember, things are changing all the time. We all have to keep learning and adapting. Parents, educators, and kids.
Right. Staying informed and having those open conversations, that's what matters most.
Well, that wraps up this special edition of Connecting the Dots, a deeper dot kids online safety. Thanks for joining us for this important conversation.
It was great to be here. And remember, open communication and taking those proactive steps are so important for keeping kids safe online.
We are here to help here at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.